What's up, Racer X fans? My name's Dano. I like long walks on a beach, a candlelight dinner, and some rollerblading. But hey, we're not rollerblading here today. We're out here to send these 250Fs through the ringer. I got some boys I brought with me. Little Gage Shear, Derek Kelly, J6 Salone, and how about Ryan the Fig Newton? Old school, bringing it back. And yours truly, Dano, I'm married, Papa Legier. Hey guys, it's Dano Legier here again, doing the 250F shootout out at Cahuilla Creek, having a blast. I ride vet intermediate, and at least on my good days. All right, so I was really excited this year to ride the Husqvarna, man. Honestly, a chainsaw to a real deal bike now. So awesome. I couldn't believe how good the suspension, the electric start front brake. I only made a couple clickers, and that was one of my favorite things is you could take on top of the clicker and you can do it right there while you're sitting on your bike. One thing I didn't like on it is the seat. I kept wanting to fly off the back, maybe because of the power, but you know, I'm a real finicky guy when it comes to the seats. Okay, we're on the Leprechaun, the Kawasaki Green 250F. Let me tell you what, best ergos of its class. I felt the most comfortable right off the bat. The only thing I made is a front brake change. I brought the front brake out because it was a little too tight in. I love the handlebars, the best for me. I always got to have a crossbar pad. I don't know what it is, maybe the old school in me. But the one thing I did notice, it did have a lot, I'd say the most stiffest clutch pull of its class. Okay, I'm really proud of KTM this year. They finally made something that I've been wanting them to, is soften their suspension and put a linkage in the dang thing. Love the brakes, the clutch, and the electric start.
Hi, I'm J6 Salone from Paris, California. I'm 18 years old, and I race pro. Well, the Honda was a great bike. It turned really well. It is a little on the slow side, but I mean, other than that, I really love the Honda. I've ridden Hondas ever since I got on a big bike, and jumping back on the Honda, I definitely seemed to fit it really well, and I was able to learn it pretty quick and easily. The Yamaha was definitely a really good bike. It was the second time I've ever ridden one. It has a lot of bottom end. It definitely, I mean, it almost wheeled out of my hands a couple times. I almost looped out, not gonna lie. But I really liked it a lot. We did a little bit with the forks. We slowed down the rebound quite a bit and stiffened them up, and then it just started riding perfect. I liked it a lot, and I'm gonna say I can throw some pretty mean whips on it, not gonna lie. The Suzuki was a really good bike. It's a little slow, but other than that, I mean, it cuts really good out of turns whenever I need to cut and switch to get out of lines and everything like that, to, you know, swerve bumps or whatever. It does it really easily, and I like the bike a lot. I just did a couple adjustments with the shock and stiffened it up a little bit in the forks, and I mean, I do weigh about $185, $190, so I'm pretty sure I had to, you know, stiffen it up a little bit, and it made it good to go. So I really like the bike a lot.
Hi, my name's Derek Kelly. I'm from Riverside, California. I'm 16 years old, and I race intermediate 250 and schoolboy 1 and 2. Honda is one of my favorite bikes. I mean, it seems to handle really good. The suspension, no complaints overall. The braking's really good. In the air, it's just something about it. Just it turns right around for you and seems to bring itself back out with no effort whatsoever. So, I mean, the power on this track seems to be really well. I mean, usually it's not the fastest bike, but it seems to get up really well in the third position on the ignition changes. The Kawasaki is probably the fastest bike out here. I mean, it's got amazing torque out of the bottom end, and I mean, sometimes it'll scare you coming out of tight corners. And the suspension is a little bit stiff, but I mean, it seems to be all right. It doesn't get out of control or anything. It turns really well. It tracks, like on flat corners, it tracks like amazing. So like if you have a dry slick corner, it'll just go right around it without any problem. Next is the KTM. I think the power on it was a little bit better than the Husky. I mean, it seemed to corner really well, and the suspension was just a little bit softer and more plush, and I really liked it. It seemed to handle really well in the air, and no complaints overall.
I'm Gage Shear. I'm 16 years old. I race Schoolboy 1, Schoolboy 2, and 250 B class. Yamaha is personally one of my favorite bikes. Everything about the brakes, they're all good. The power about it, from the bottom end to mid to top, it pulls all the way through. Suspension doesn't chatter too much, tracks nicely, and Yamaha, I think, is one of my favorite bikes for sure. The Husky was a super good bike. I was super surprised with it. The brake system stopped on a dime. It didn't stop too harshly, but it stopped perfectly. The motor was really good from mid to top range. It hit really hard. Suspension was pretty good, stiff, but you can work with that. All around, I actually really liked it. And the Suzuki was a super good bike. The suspension was good, a little harsh in the mid-range, but you can fix that. The motor hit good all the way through with smooth power, and I really like the bike.
I'm Ryan Newton, 29 years old, pro rider. First off, we have the Kawasaki, and really comfortable bike all around. I mean, handling was great from, setting up to turns. Power through the gears was really good, coming into the turns, coming out the turns. The motor definitely wasn't lagging for power anywhere. Pulled strong through all the gears, and I felt mostly I could run a higher gear in most places. And the turning was great. It really stuck to the ground, and the front end tracked well going into and coming out of turns. And I felt like the braking, I could brake a lot harder on it without the front end tucking and washing and getting loose and stuff. So the braking was really good, and I mean, all around, great bike, great feel, just very happy with the Cowie. The Honda was good. It felt a lot lower in the front, which made it easy to get into turns and out of turns. And the one thing I liked on the Honda was the 3 different mappings on the motor. So 1, you had like a stock mapping. 2, if the track kind of got a little bit rough or slick, you could mellow it out a little bit, and get more traction to the ground. And the 3rd one was a little more aggressive. So when the track's tacky and loamy, it really hooks up great, and you could be on it a little harder. So I think that variety made it a great bike. Also, the handling on the Honda was good. Braking, in and out of turns, coming out through the choppy stuff, it was a dream. Next up, we have the Yamaha, which I was blown away by the Yamaha. Truly one of the best 250Fs I've ever ridden. I mean, the motor was strong. It felt like a full-on race bike, to be honest with you. And didn't lag for gears, for power anywhere, pulled strong. The turning over the years, from the previous bikes, I think is incredible now on the Yamaha. Definitely the braking was good. Suspension worked great through the chop and the rough stuff, and I felt like I could really hang off the back end and get on it a lot harder on the Yamaha. And for that, I mean, definitely I rate the Yamaha probably the best out of all the bikes. I mean, once again, the motor was just mind-blowing.
All right, guys, the verdict's in. It's been a long 8 hours here at Cahuilla Creek. We've done suspension settings, clickers, sags, changing bars, hitting levers. This is it. Time has come. In 3rd place, your Suzuki RMZ 250. And then, let me tell you, it was a close call for all this. And this is the first time in Racer X history where we have a tie with the Honda and the Yamaha in second place. And now I'm going to let you guys know with all the riders and what they said about the handling, best motor, suspension, it is your Kawasaki KX250F, first place. All right, I want to throw out a big thanks to all the test riders, to Works Connection and Decal Works for the backgrounds and graphics, but most of all for all the OEMs for coming out here today, hanging out with us at Cahuilla Creek. My name's Dano. I had a blast. Thank you, Racer X. Until next year, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.